Okay, let me start now. Now I'm officially starting. Thank you, Mirtha. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Um, so we are excited that you're here today to learn a little bit more about the education success platform. I know several of you who are on the webinar today. We've worked together for a long time. I was looking at some of the names on the call today, and it's brings back memories of when I first started working in New Hampshire many years ago. But anyway, we are excited to be able to bring Educator Success Platform to you and tell you more about it. It's a tool that we've developed after kind of observing for many years some of the needs that are taking place within schools. And so we think that this is one place that you can hopefully go to bring together a tool that allow you to collect information and data that might cross many different initiatives in many different parts of the operations of your school. So Marissa's going to tell you all about it today. So we'll continue on because I know we don't have a lot of time. I'm Mike Schwartz. So I've been working in New Hampshire for over 20 years now. And it's been wonderful to be part of working with so many of you. I'm here with Marissa Hooper. Marissa joined Demonstrated Success a couple of years ago, and she brings a lot of wonderful experience to us, both from being in the classroom as well as helping schools in a lot of different data initiatives. And Marissa's helping lead up some of this work with ESP. So with that, let me turn it over to Marissa, and thank you so much again, everyone, for joining us. I should also mention, if you have any questions during this, we can unmute you if you want to ask them live, but feel free to just to put questions in the Q&A section, and I'll be monitoring those and can certainly reply during the presentation. Okay, thanks, Marissa.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the just education success platform in general to give you a nice overview, how ESP can help your school or district, and then after a very short time today, how you're able to learn more. Mike and I are going to shut off our cameras just so that when we get onto the actual platform, you're able to see, what it looks like in its entirety. Okay. So as Mike had stated, the two of us have worked collaboratively with a lot of schools and districts, and it's through that we've observed that superintendents and principals and educators are focused on numerous initiatives. And all of these initiatives they want to implement with fidelity. The challenge that we've seen is that we've identified that there's no single solution that can effectively address each initiative and the unique needs that they entail, and not necessarily a single solution that does it in a way that can tackle each initiative in a single solution. So given that, what we wanted to do was, for those of you on this call, we wanted to ask you about what your priorities or initiatives that you're focusing on this year and how you feel about the data management for those initiatives. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to take a minute and I'm going to launch this poll that I would love for you to take a minute just to answer so that we're able to better help you. So you should see the poll launched up on your screen. The first question asking what priorities or initiatives you're focusing on this year. You can choose multiple initiatives. You can choose one, and then how you feel about the data management for those processes. It looks like improvements in behavior and MTSS are definitely at the forefront here. And then that we have processes in place that use multiple systems. Maybe we don't have a process in place and it tends to be a little confusing for stakeholders. Awesome. Thank you everyone so much for taking a minute just to let us know exactly where our focus is for the year. Because that is why our education success platform was developed. It was a direct result of what we're finding is that schools do not have a system in place for. So ESP was designed to provide a streamlined process that consolidates all of the necessary information for these types of systems. The goal of that was to make your school operations easier. So this is a versatile cloud-based system. And what it does is it's able to collect data through the integration of forms and surveys. So depending on what initiative you have, or maybe you have multiple initiatives, through these forms and surveys, collecting that data, it can support any of those initiatives that you had listed before, because it's able to consolidate that data into one easily accessible location. So some of the things that it's able to do for your school is, if you had chosen that you want to focus on behavior with students, is that it can help track that behavior management. It can collect and manage your educator evaluation process. Professional development is one as well. We can track those professional development hours. Implementing climate and culture surveys. Sometimes we want to get feedback from staff and students and parents about, specific aspects of our school. So ESP was designed to tackle all of these initiatives and be able to consolidate it in one place. We'll be able to see some of this today on the actual Education Success platform, but we just wanted to highlight just a few key pieces about what makes the Education Success platform beneficial to you and the initiative that you're tackling. So through the collection of forms and surveys, not only does it allow you as a user to create a form, but it also allows you to customize the forms that are already in there. So sometimes other platforms don't provide you the flexibility to modify what you have. You're sort of given this form, and that's what you have to work with. We allow you to edit and customize what we have given, as well as let you to create your own from scratch. It's also easy for stakeholders to fill out forms, whether that is educators in your school, parents, students, however you're using a specific form or survey. The notification process of form completions, as well as being able to send follow-up notifications, has been a feature that has been beneficial for many reasons, so that we're able to keep up with these initiatives and again implement them with fidelity. And then lastly, we're able to specify who's able to certify the completion of a data collection form, whether that's a superintendent or principal, and then who has the ability to choose who will have access to fill out a specific form. Those we'll be able to see today, so you'll be able to get a better understanding of exactly what we mean by that. When we're thinking about the data within ESP, is that a lot of times we find, that staff or administrators are having to compile data from different types of collections, and it's taking up a lot of time. And what ESP allows us to do is to compile that data in an easily accessible way and does it for us, which also shows or allows us to be able to analyze that data in a way. So now we can spend our time analyzing that data and targeting action instead of using all that time to compile it. You're able to use ESP to integrate with existing databases. So your student information systems, ESP easily is able to integrate with those. And it also allows you to determine how your data is recorded depending on the field that you have. So we'll be able to go through the fields today, and you'll see just some of the options that allow you to determine how that data is recorded. That data can also be exported into an Excel spreadsheet, which can be used and helpful for many reasons. And then you're able to see, again, that real-time status of completed forms, forms in progress, forms that haven't been started, and can, again, allow you to kind of streamline that process that you have. Why we want to use ESP and how it can help you. I know we talked about that ESP was designed, to have that one easily accessible place for you to be able to manage all of the different initiatives that you have going for your school to make your school operations easier. And it does so because it is one place for you to be able to maintain, manage, and use the data that you are collecting. Again, we have those forms and they are developed by content experts. And sometimes we don't always know what we don't know. So we have forms in there that you might not even know is out there that you can use to help with your initiative or to help you with a process, to make it so that you're better able to implement the needs of your staff, your students, your stakeholders. You're able to customize and create the forms as you need. And you're able to also integrate your school data, such as class rosters, directly into the data collection forms. And lastly, we're able to summarize the data. You're given graphs and statistics. This is where it can help you facilitate that discussion, target action, and make change in the areas that you're hoping. So what I want to do now is just show you a few items in the Education Success platform. This is our landing page, our home screen of what it would look like when you would log into ESP. And it would be a little different for you as a user than it is on my side as someone who is creating within ESP. So what we have here is we have our ESP forms. And here we have just a small number of categories. There could be so much more in here of ways in which you can use the Educator Success platform. So if you're a curriculum coordinator, we have these curriculum feedback forms when you're trying to get feedback or information from a program that you're trying to implement or pilot. We also have these environment and climate surveys, as well as the perception and engagement surveys. So if you're an administrator or a superintendent and you want to get that feedback from your stakeholders for a number of reasons, we have those in here as well. If you are an HR coordinator, we have some HR forms. These are your onboarding type forms for new hires that you're able to use the platform for, as well as tracking PD hours for teachers, an acceptable use policy that if you need to have your staff sign on. So those are some of the options within the HR forms. Even as a nurse, I don't have a category in here but if you're a nurse and you have those endless amount of health forms to be given out in the beginning of the year, this is a place that you can house all of that information for your students. Even as a teacher, if you want to be able to use this for rubrics and having students give feedback and they're able to upload their work into the Education Success platform, you can do that as well. And then as an administrator, we have the, tracking student behaviors. We have our teacher observation and evaluation forms. I know MTSS was part of the initiative. We have a MTSS form that really helps facilitate the MTSS process, everything from requesting a student to ensuring that they're receiving the interventions needed and making growth. So we have a number of ways that we're able to use this Education Success platform. What I wanted to show you quickly is just what a form looks like and how easy it would be to create one.
And Marissa, as you go into that too, there was a question about customizing the form, and I just want to be clarified for folks. So what Marissa was showing you is sample categories that we've kind of put out there because we know there are things that are important to you. Or what we've found important to many schools. But you are all the way you group forms, those different categories that Marissa showed you, that is all completely customizable. So you can make it whatever names you want. You can, within those, use the forms that we've developed, or you can create your own forms. And also, as you'll see as we go forward, what allows you to, what the kind of the main part of ESP allows you to do is once you've got those forms, is to use those then to do the data collection. So whether you are collecting the perception data from parents or teachers, or whether you are the nurse collecting intake information from parents, or whether you are an MTSS lead trying to, or an MTSS educator trying to get student work and work with the student, all ESP allows you to do that communication and share these forms and do that data collection with any of those types of stakeholders. But that'll become more evident as Marissa goes forward. Thanks, Marissa.
Exactly. Of course. And we're always adding to this. We're adding more surveys, we're adding more categories as we figure out, exactly what schools need. So this is a process that's constantly updated. So I'm just going to show you how you easily can create a new form. This is where, if you were an administrator or superintendent, you had a community forum night and you wanted to receive some feedback, I would just title the survey and why I'm creating it. And I'm going to go through this quickly just for the sake of time. I just want to be able to show you, what ESP, how easy it is to create a form. So if we save that, we are then able to see how we can build this specific form. Right over here, these are all the fields. This is where we were saying that you can control how data is collected based on the type of question that you're asking and how you want that question answered. So if I'm asking parents a question about, how to get more participation within this community forum night, I can determine if I want that to be an open answer, if I want them to, choose between a specific 5 answers that I give them. What's great about these fields is that they have these sort of help pieces to them where you're able to get a definition of exactly what this is going to do for your form, as well as a short text label tutorial that shows you how you can use that. What's great is that we are here for ESP and we're able to, be here and give you help whenever you would need to build a form, but these are also there to help you as well. So again, if I wanted to, make it an open answer question, I could click the field item, ask my question to the parents as well. So this is where we can build our forms. And again, we're just doing a short demo today. I'd love to be able to take you through all of these, but that would take too long. So this is where we build our forms. For forms that we already have in here that you're able to edit, I'm going to take you to our behavior tracking form. This has been one that has been pretty popular. So we have this that we've developed, and if we go into our edit mode, we're able to see this form here. And also with this form, I'll be able to show you the data and statistics. So you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like for someone to fill out this form and then for you to be able to analyze it. But if you're like, if you receive this form and you like the majority of it, but you notice that the locations that we have listed here are not as specific to your school as you would like them, we can edit that and we can easily add an option. Maybe it's the basketball court. That has been a place that you've noticed a lot of behaviors, and we can again drag it to where it would need, where we think it would fit best, and we can easily customize this form to be anything we would need. Sometimes for schools, we have a specific code that we have the children live by, so adding that in as well. So I'm not going to save this, but again, the customization piece, the other platforms you might have don't, again, provide you that flexibility to modify what we have. And as we're able to do that, you are not locked into these forms. They can easily be customized. All right, so that's a little bit about ESP's forms in general. I know we've been asking some questions in the chat, so keep asking, and Mike, as always, just cut me off and ask away or answer the questions. Next, we just wanted to talk a little bit about how ESP can help your school or district. So we launched that poll because we wanted to know the initiatives that you would be working on this year. And those are only a few of the options. So what we have developed within these categories are forms and surveys related to everything we have listed here. The ability to implement MTSS with fidelity, everything from requesting a student to the intervention piece to the goals, and having it in one place so that regardless of who is working with that student, that they have access to where that student is at in this process. That tracking behavior form, if we want to target, we see that there's a specific area in the school or a specific time of day that we're able to target and make action and ensure that those behaviors are decreasing. We have some self-review items in there. If you are a school doing professional learning communities, we have the self-evaluation or the team evaluation that you can take, as well as the data practices self-assessment. We have classroom observation and evaluation forms. We have, not only do we have observation rubrics for the teacher evaluation, but if you're also doing a specific, like reading, writing, math workshop, we have those forms as well. We have some curriculum review feedback surveys, some perception and climate surveys, everything from field trip forms for students to HR forms for the SAU office, and as well as professional development tracking forms. Again, this is just a snapshot of just some of the possibilities of the forms and surveys in ESP. The options are endless. So what we want to do is take you through a few more of those. And what I wanted to do first is I wanted to show you how we're able to share a form. So now that you've seen some of the forms in here, what does it look like when we share it? What does it look like for a stakeholder to complete a form? And then what do the data and statistics look like? So this is an acceptable use policy form. And this is an example of if I were to send this out to my staff, that they need to sign and acknowledge that they have read the acceptable use policy, so we can store it here for data and information for everyone who has done so. So this is a share that we've created. We can see here the completion status. So what's great here is that we can see that here we shared it with 10 of our staff members. 5 of those staff members have completed it, 2 are in progress, and 3 have not started. And then we can see exactly who those are here. We can see who has completed it. Again, who is only just started it, and then who has not started it at all. And this is what that gives us. Within this share, I'm able to also send out notifications. So if I wanted to create a notification to send either now or later, I can send it to those who have not completed the acceptable use policy form. What that looks like is that will come in an email that looks just like this from the SAU 8 HR department to please sign and submit that you have read the acceptable use policy form by this specific date. So our notification process can be sent directly to email. And again, you can send that right now, or you can schedule that for later.
And what you might not have seen on the email that Marissa showed you, but basically the email will go to each, whoever you're directing it to, and within that email there is a link. It says click here to access the form, and they just click the link and they fill out the form and they're done. And the system, will show you the status of the form. So the part of, again, is what Marissa's trying to describe, and what we found in working with schools over years is that, you may have a new initiative, maybe you've got a new person in HR, maybe you have a school board that is big into policies. And so all of a sudden you have this need to start having all your staff fill out certain acceptable use policies, or maybe you have an initiative around you want to focus on teacher evaluation this year. And so there's a big focus on setting up an evaluation system. The purpose of the ESP allows you to kind of manage any of those processes and collect that data for that purpose.
Thanks, Mike. And yeah, this is what that form looks like for acknowledging it. You can link the form right. If you have a separate acceptable use policy, you can link it right here and give your electronic signature.
And this form that Marissa's just showing you, the whole purpose, one big purpose of ESP is just like you have in SurveyMonkey or in Form Builder in Google or something. We have got what we feel is a very easy to use, robust system, so you can build these forms however you want them. If you want a link, if you want something bold, if you want, certain fields required, all that type of stuff is very easy for you to do within the school. And that was another thing we kind of learned, is that in many of these other systems, as Marissa mentioned, maybe you've got a system to collect PD that's focused on PD, but it also doesn't give you the flexibility of customizing it the way you want in terms of the data that you want to collect. And this tool is all about your ability to customize it for your needs.
Exactly. Thanks, Mike. And I won't go into detail, but there are different types of shares that you can give out. So if you were, giving out that climate survey to parents and guardians, you could do an anonymous share so that all of the responses will be anonymous. So you do have different types of shares that you can do for each form. I'm going to go back into that behavior form again, and I just want to show that we're also able to see the in progress and completed forms that staff members have done. So we can filter those here we can see behavior forms that are currently in progress that the educator, whoever it might be, is filling out. And then we're also able to see what that looks like in our data and statistics page. Here, we're able to see again that in progress and completed forms. We're able to filter the data and statistics. We can do that through the status, the organization, a date range. And then this is where, if we download the statistics, we are able to export these results into an Excel spreadsheet if we need. And this is where we can see, student names, who has done, who has a few of these filled out for them, the grade levels of the behaviors, where's the location. We see that the classroom is where these behaviors are occurring the most, any restorative practices, the time of day. So we're able to analyze some of these graphs so that we're able to target and make some change in where we need to for behaviors. And then lastly, I just wanted to show, for an observation form, we talked about required fields. So if I was to fill out this teacher observation form and I am a principal, what I can do is I can require that this part of the form is only filled out by the principal. And what I would do is I would let the educator know, what is the date of their observation. And then I can share this back to them. I can email this part of the form to that educator. What would happen next is they would then go to the next page, which is that pre-observation form, where the educator has to fill out this pre-observation form. So that way the two of you are able to sit down and discuss this together, and we can make it so that only the teacher is able to access and fill out this part of the form, who can then share it back to you when they've completed that, and so forth. Then you're in the observation, and again, you can only have access to this part and share out. So we're able to require specific questions that can only be accessed from a specific role, and also how we can share different parts of that form. Okay. So I wanted to just end on, again, why we developed ESP in the first place, which is that this particular platform is really all about gathering information and making it easy to collect and streamline any sort of process that you might have in place that might be cumbersome or that you're looking to resolve with all the different initiatives you have going on. And not only initiatives, but just a place to house and store information and collect data so that you don't have all these different systems was the goal. So again, it includes customizable forms that you can tailor, and then your school and district can meet all of these needs as well that we have. Mike, did you want to add anything?
No, we're getting close to the time. There's one question also, just before I answer that, I wanted to mention, um, the other big thing with that form builder that Marissa explained a little bit is that it's fairly sophisticated in the ability for you to not only require certain questions by certain people or restrict certain questions so they're only filled out by the principal or only filled out by the nurse or they're only filled out by a parent. But you also can do things like hide and show questions. So you can say if they answer, this question with a yes, then we're going to show these fields. If they answer no, then we're going to show other fields. So it lets you do a lot of these kind of sophisticated things as you're building your form. And once again, you've got the power to do that, as an end user yourself. The other thing I just want to mention, there was a question about whether title funds could be used for this. And from my work at the department, I certainly think title funds could be used, most all title funds could be used for this, depending on how you're using it. So if you're using it for, teacher professional development and teacher growth, then, certainly certain title funds can be used for that. If you're using it for focusing on providing additional support and services to certain students, and the title funds, that are directed towards student improvement can also be, and student instruction could also be used for that. So certainly title funds should be one source of funds if that's something you're thinking about doing. Just want to answer that question.
Thank you, Mike. And how to learn more. As Mike had stated, there's a lot more that ESP can do that unfortunately we're just not able to cover in this half-hour time period with you. So we do have our website. We do have a brochure that you can click to learn more. But our contact information is here, and Mike and I will also be reaching out as well. But just so that if you want more information, if you had a question that you were not able to get answered today, or you have questions about what ESP can do any further, then we welcome you to please reach out. Our contact information is here. So we want to thank you so much for coming to our education success platform overview, the short overview that we're able to have today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.